So here's a battle which is gameowner123 of GameFAQs. He leads with Swampert, I lead with Aerodactyl, and I know these leads like to start off with Stealth Rock, so I'll use Taunt, but he predicts that and uses Stone Edge, but a Stone Edge misses anyway, so it's as if nothing happens. So he uses Stone Edge again, and it hits as I set up Stealth Rocks on my own, and the Stone Edge does a respectable amount of damage to Aerodactyl. But I decided to switch into Serebii, because Serebii can resist just about all of Swampert's attacks, and Swampert does Stone Edge, but that really doesn't do any damage to Serebii. So I use Leech Seed, predicting the switch, and he takes a while to decide right here. Maybe he's looking through his team, trying to find a good Serebii counter. But yeah. So eventually he switches into Scizor, and yeah, there he goes. And I'm not gonna keep Celebi in against Scizor because they don't carry the X Scissor or the U-turn, both of which do quadruple damage to Celebi. So I'm gonna switch into Heatran, predicting that, and Heatran's quadruple resist to Bug, so that's gonna do nothing. Yeah, and I basically heal it all off with Leech Seed. And the Leech Seed and Life Orb are taking a huge toll on Scizor. So he's going to switch out, but I go with Fire Blast anyway because it's my safest move, because I really don't know what else he has. And he goes into Swampert, and the Swampert resists Fire Blast pretty well, so I switch out back into Celebi, because once again Celebi can take just about all of Swampert's moves. He gets to set up Stealth Rock now, which is pretty bad. But I'm gonna Leech it again, picking a switch, but he doesn't switch. He does Avalanche, which does virtually nothing. So I am gonna take this time to Calm Mind, because having more special attacks, special defense on Celebi is always nice. I mean, Celebi already has beastly defenses as it is, but he goes into Scizor as I Calm Mind. Now right here, I think he's gonna go with the Bug move, and I'm pretty sure Scizor's slower than Celebi, so I just go with the Psychic, because after a Calm Mind that should KO, and it does, which is awesome. So now that the biggest threat of OU is out of the way, he goes into Heatran, and I'm not gonna keep Celebi against Heatran because this Celebi really can't do anything against Heatrans. So I go into Latias because predicting either the fire move or the earth power, in case he predicted I was gonna switch to Heatran. So Latias is a pretty safe switch. But I use Surf trying to KO the Heatran, but he's switching to Starmie, which takes a Surf pretty well. And I'm pretty sure Starmie's faster than Latias, so I go into Heatran on my own, predicting the Ice Beam, and I'm right on my prediction. And here I go with the Earth Power just to make sure I do maximum damage to Starmie, but I think he predicts that and goes into Salamence, who's totally immune to Earth Power. So I can't stay in here, so I switch, and I go into Mamoswine, which is basically death to any dragon. And I figured he'd set up since that's what most Salamances do, but he could have surprised me, which would have been bad. I use Ice Shard here because that's pretty much my best option, and that takes down Salamence with a great prejudice. So he goes back into Starmie, and he's probably going to Surf. So, but I still go with the Ice Shard because I really don't have a safe switch against Surf. And I actually assumed that has a chance of KOing, so I just went with it. But anyway, Mamoswine goes down, which is a pretty big loss because I like Mamoswine. But I go into Aerodactyl, who just barely survives the Stealth Rock. And Aerodactyl pretty much take out Starmie or do decent damage to anything on his team with Earthquake. So he goes into Heatran, and this is probably a Scarftran. Yeah, it definitely is a Scarftran because that speeds my Aerodactyl, but I decided to try to go for the Earthquake anyway. So I go into Latias because I know he's locked into Fire move, and I go for the Choice Specs Draco Meteor, predicting a switch because that does massive damage to just about anything that's not Steel. And it takes out Swampert, which is good. So he goes back into Heatran, and I'm not going to Draco Meteor this thing. So I switch out and go to Heatran on my own. And I actually predicted the Ice move, but he explodes. or the ice, hidden power ice, or the dragon pulse. But either way, we both lose our Heatrans, which is a shame, but something had to take that explosion. So I go back to Latias, and he goes into Zapdos, and a Choice Specs Draco Meteor should take out the Zapdos, and it does, and I'm glad, considering the Zapdos would have done decent damage to the rest of my team. So, good game, game owner.